Thank you to everyone who's attended this session. This is Infigo Live. Sadly, we don't have any vouchers or gifts to give the first group of people who have attended this session, but it is something that we are looking to do monthly now. It's an informative session, so we are looking to make this as sharingly capable as possible. So information will be shared based on Infigo and also partners and also the industry. So you'll find a real wide array of products and topics that we'll be covering in the coming months. So it's looking to be one of the features that we will run every month, and different team members will also join that. So we'll kick off for anyone who is in the room already. Let's just go through and explain who Enfocus are. Very short presentation on this one. We're not going to do death by PowerPoint, but yeah, let's just run through this now. So what is the webinar about? The webinar is about making web to print work for you, and the emphasis is on the word work. So we want it to be a platform that works for the business in regards to revenue generation, but also be seen as almost like an employee. So that's really the headline about the webinar. Infigo, who are we? Infigo are a company now. We're 15 years old, and we've got 190 plus active customers globally. A huge array of partners. 20 plus is a good indication of who we're working with, and we'll show a bit more later on. We exist in 13 countries, so we've got customers across the globe with 24/7 support, and also our team is growing all the time. So 50 plus employees, we're breaking past nearly 60 now with a huge amount of developers within our team. So very proud of our team, all wearing the Infigo logo on the chest each and every day. But we've got a fantastic development team, fantastic support team, and also sales and behind the scenes team. We've actively got 3,500 storefronts, and that is growing week on week. Just a bit about our customers. I'll leave that for you to read, but some fantastic feedback from Italian Action Group, also Tony Willis from Funeral Prints, and then our friends over at ASU, Arizona State Uni, with a fantastic installation we've got there also. So let's just dive into the main event. So we're going to start off today with an overview of how you can take customers' artwork and allow them access to a web portal. And as we're mentioning today, we are Infigo, but we're here to educate the industry because people might not be aware of some of our partners. So today's a bit of a dual session. We're trying to show the benefits of Preflight and how it can have a place in your team. I'm sure it does exist in a lot of companies at present, either in RIP software or workflow softwares. But again, in web to print, there's a definite need there, and we're trying to highlight this today. So again, you can see our partners here and Enfocus. Big hello to David Visteyan and Pete DePaul, who are our friends. And as I said, we've got a fantastic integration with these guys. So Enfocus, we'll share these links afterwards for anyone who isn't aware of these. You know, as I said, they are very well known as a business, but essentially that is the engine that sits within inside Infigo, and we are a true OEM partner. So how does that work? Essentially, we have the core technology, the core code, and it's actually embedded into the Infigo core technology. So we're not looking to pass the file out to a secondary system, and then that file gets processed, pre-flight checked, errors, warnings, fails, or fixes, and then it comes back. We truly have that technology at the heart of Infigo. So again, it's an OEM solution in there. So this is the pre-flight, and within the pre-flight, we can run a profile, which I'll go to later on. It's called a PPP, which is the pit stop pre-flight profile. That essentially is your checklist. So the checklist of what are the issues, what are the possible things that could go wrong with this file or are already wrong with this file that we would not accept. So the idea of being a pre-pressed person in a box is definitely the best description that we can put against Enfocus and the profile that sits within inside Infigo. And essentially it will highlight that. So if a customer does upload artwork, instantly they will get an error warning if you want them to have that, or it will continue onto your team, and that error warning then goes to your team to then speak to the account manager and then speak to the customer. So this is Enfocus Pit Stop. That's what will be at the core of our engine. We also, just to cover another part of the Enfocus suite of products, we have an Infigo Connect module. So the Infigo Connect module is more geared towards the workflow side, and that is Enfocus Switch. So many users on this call today, and also industry-wide, are looking at Switch as a workflow solution. So we also have an integration into Enfocus Switch. And again, we'll cover this in detail a bit further on, and also happy to pick up on this as a separate call after this webinar. Just to be very clear, we'll be showing the integration into the Pit Stop plugin that we have today, which sits within the core engine, and not Enfocus Switch. We'll be saving this for another tantalizing webinar in the coming months. So let's dive into the Infigo platform. So as people may know, and just want to be very clear on this, Infigo are a full end-to-end web-to-print solution, or e-commerce platform, as many people refer us to. When I say end-to-end, we handle storefronts, B2B, B2C. Infigo have a very skilled team at offering a service, brand, design those storefronts for you. Or if you've got your own team, you can do that yourself. So just to show you our demo platform today, as I said, the end-to-end solution, we will handle products, and those products can sit within a variety of print verticals, general commercial print, labels, packaging, stock promo items, and wide format. And in the packaging world, it's flexible pouches, folding carton, and rigid corrugate. So you can see there, we're covering pretty much every vertical, and we do have very specific demos for very specific industries, such as flexible packaging in pouches, as well as the label demonstrations as well. So we're happy to do a very specific demo from our Infigo label site. Also, a very quick selection of our partners. As you saw earlier on the slide, 20 partners or more. So essentially what we're trying to show you here is that we do work with best-in-class partners, and we also have solutions that integrate with best-in-class partners. But the root core of everything we're trying to do in regards advice and also the subject of web to print is promote that automate through integration if you can. So that's the key headline for us as a business, and it was the core thing for Douglas Gibson, our founder and CEO, was the frustration behind web to print and also pushing that volume through a business to help generate more revenue, but at the same time reduce bottlenecks, make it simpler for the PSP to process jobs without relying on putting more stress on team members. So that's definitely what this should be seen as today. So let's just dive into part one. Part one is all about working with our embedded Preflight engine. So in here, in our demo platform, we've got a product which is configured against a category of books. And inside here, we've got our attribute combinations that we can select. And just to be very clear, we can select these combinations of attributes such as media and also folding schemes or finishing schemes, and also sizes. And then we can also get the profile to check against, was it an 8x11? Was it 210x297? So again, removing that manual task for a user. So again, all about taking pressure off your team. How can you do more with less? You know, you can't keep on employing more people. So let's make the system work for you. And there are things that people, I was a pre-press operator once, I definitely got tired of the same files coming through with the same errors. Preflight can take those away. So the mundane tasks would be eradicated from your business. So if we kick in Infigo here and we ask to start this process with a quantity or a default quantity of 50 selected, we're greeted with our upload engine. So our upload engine now is our customer facing drag and drop or go away, select the file facility. So if we just dive in here now and we go and select our artwork, what's happening now behind the scenes, and if you compare it to a human doing this, is Infigo is now taking this, and you can see it's processing this, and it's found 8 pages in this document. So it's looking through all of the 8 pages, checking for the sizings. It's also checking for color combinations, and it's also checking for things like fonts and anything else in a PDF that could be an error. So you'll see within a split 15 seconds, we see that the document has issues because the art box, bleed box, media box, and trim box are all set to 0000. So essentially that could cause us issues, especially when we're looking at binding or saddle stitching this book, because we don't have the overlap, don't have the bleeds to work with. So we'll be doing dead cuts. So we will see white around the document. Totally unacceptable. Any pre-press operator would agree to this. So what happens now is we've actually got pit stop to stop. Now, normally this would flow through and be totally automated, but I want to stop it at this stage. So what we're actually showing you now is that the artwork can be checked 24/7. These are the benefits for you as a business. Suddenly you've gone from opening from 9 till 5, customer facing, and now you've gone 24/7. And you can have the assurity and the quality behind these checks, because essentially it's run the PPP from Pitstop, which is the Pitstop Preflight profile. It's checked for all of the things that you said could be bad or are definitely a fail in your department, and it's pulled these up. So essentially, this would have flown through and it would have auto applied these fixes. So what we can do is we can look at that report and then we can view the report, or you could give it to an account manager and they can share it. So I'm sure people have seen this umpteen times. But essentially, this is a document that just shows and helps you explain to the customer where the issues are, such as full of RGB images on every single page. You can see that in here. 128 is full of RGBs. So that could be a thing that helps you translate that to your customer. What we also advise is run the PPP, and then based on the PPP, pit stop pre-flight profile, then go and run the action list. And the action list says, okay, based on those fail, fix, or warn things I've been passed, I can fix any, some, or all of these. And what we'll now see in a few seconds, I'll just dive into it because we've only got 30 minutes today, and I'll leave that going in the background, is that the pre-flight engine will then go away and grab that document and apply all of those fixes. So if I just go into the next screen, we will go back just to prove there's no smoke and mirrors. It's just that 30 seconds on a webinar does feel like 5 minutes. Essentially, what it will do is it will apply the manual fixes. So it will go through, convert the RGBs to 𝐶𝐸. It's gone and resized the media, bleed, and trim box to 3mm all the way around, and then pushed everything out and extended the document. So there you go, it's resized the crop box, and also anything to do with the fonts. If it can vectorize them, it has done. If it hasn't, it would be a hard fail. So it can't fix the impossible. That's the big thing to share. So if we download the fixed PDF file, I'll just go back to that screen. That one's still going. We can then find a location for that. And then essentially, I'll just dive behind and just show you what we've done. In here now, we've got the original document. This is the uploaded file, and you can see the art box, bleed box, trim box, coordinates of 0000. And then based on the pre-flight check we've done, you can see how it's pushed the trim box and the bleed box. So trim box in, bleed box out, pixel cloned or extended the artwork if the artwork is extendable. It is sat there within the document. It can't magically create things, or it can pixel clone as well and reverse. And it's added the bleed in there. Now that could have taken a pre-press operator 5, 10, 15 minutes, maybe even half an hour, or it could have caused a rejection and you'd have to go back to your customer. So this is the first thing it's done. It's also converted the RGB to 𝐶𝐸. So again, that could have taken minutes, hours to do if it's a multi-page document. If I just move that back and then go back to the main screen, there we go. So that one's now completed. There's the 2 windows that are identical. You can see that's the file we did. So again, it's 30, 45 seconds to automate that process. When we're looking at the PPP and the EAL from Enfocus, these can be built by you and your team with training, or they can be built by an Enfocus referral partner or reseller to actually build the PPPs or EALs. It's actually a plugin that sits inside Adobe Acrobat. So again, you can build these yourself. And this isn't just, special to Infigo. You can do this outside of Infigo as well if you wish. This session is meant to be informative, so it's not all about it has to be within our platform. But again, we're just showing the benefits of doing this within a web to print solution, because we want to make this web to print solution work for you and truly save you hours, because that's where we will give you the ROI. Okay, moving away from the pre-flight fix, which we're on 15 minutes, that's good timing. We're now going to work with one of our chosen partners. And again, we'll always try and work with a partner because it's a proven solution and we want to share these with the industry. This week, it could be PrintIQ, who we're using on screen. Next week, it could be HP SiteFlow. The week after that, it could be Avanti Slingshot. And that's what's going to add some spice and zest into these sessions, that it will be real world, real case scenarios. We're not hiding behind PowerPoints. We're showing you live integrations. So on here now, we're looking at an Infigo storefront. We branded this for our good friends and partners at PrintIQ. For anyone who doesn't know who PrintIQ are, they are an MIS ERP solution. So essentially what we're trying to show here is our open API and our connectivity to the industry. We are using PrintIQ today, but as I said before, you might have Pace, you might have Avanti Slingshot, you might have Presswise, you might have Tharston, you might have an array of MIS platforms that are out there and available. What we're showing here is our API has given us this connectivity to PrintIQ. Remove PrintIQ, it could be any MIS, but there are different levels of integration. And if I class this as a level 2 integration, you'll see live pricing driven from the MIS, you'll see live stock levels, live shipping updates, and also the ability to drive jobs straight into production. Now that's our level 2. A level 1, you may ask, what is that? Okay, it could be pushing an order in to an MIS or ERP system. That could be it. Or it could be pushing an order in and getting status updates back. So again, happy to discuss this with anyone after the event and explain and try and guide you on what is possible with your current solutions. But again, trying to promote the fact that our robust API is allowing us to do this level of integration with the likes of PrintIQ. So first thing to highlight here is we're trying to give you as possibly a view for your customers into their live stock levels. So in a B2B world, we're showing a live stock level there. PrintIQ is showing us that. So again, your customer could self-serve. We're all about trying to show you ways to save time and give more value to your business. Well, let your customers self-serve. That's the big one for today, really. A web to print portal should give your customers access to that and essentially remove pressure off your account managers and allow your customers to then go in, remove the emails, remove the phone calls, because if I can self-serve, I'm of the Amazon generation now. I want to do that. And again, for any customers that may not be of Gen Z or the Amazon generation, you can teach them and show them the benefits of having portals. So PrintIQ is driving live stock levels into Infigo. So this is the Infigo platform. And just to highlight that this is PrintIQ MIS or ERP system, as some people like to call it. And essentially, when we go into PrintIQ, just do a quick refresh, we're seeing all the live jobs that are being placed and pushed from Infigo. So let's just dive in. If I go into the 16-page brochure, what we've also got is the capability. I've just done this literally minutes before our call. I've updated the SKU information in PrintIQ and I changed the image. And we have the ability with an MIS, if they also have the ability to push a thumbnail image back to an Infigo storefront. Now, this is quite unique to PrintIQ, but again, just to show that capability. So IQ has pushed that low res or high res thumbnail into an Infigo storefront. So it saves a huge amount of time if we allow the MIS or ERP to become the single source of truth. So if I just go in here now and put an odd combination in, what's happening there, you're seeing live pricing being generated from the MIS ERP system, and it will take longer than normal because it's a live demo. Sorry, this should take a few seconds. There we go. So that's been calculated from IQ. So you can break apart the Infigo calculation engine there. We're being told what the pricing is based on a very random quantity selection there, just to remove the smoke and mirrors. So if I go in, I'm greeted with an upload window, and then based on that upload window, I always try and use multi-page documents because they're more there's more complexity. There's normally a longer delay. Just want to show the speed between the two integrations. And you'll see what we're doing now is we're uploading this file into Infigo, and we do have the choice of pre-flighting. So on this product, we've chosen not to pre-flight. Okay, my file's been uploaded. Infigo now generates a preview of this, and we have a feature inside the system. And again, this is all about proofing. So if your systems can proof online, I would advise that with your customers. It saves a huge amount of time, and it also gives them some realism into their product and how it could look, feel when it's finished. So you'll see in here now, this is me grabbing the page. This is our page flip feature, all standard within our core platform. And you'll see there anything that could be an issue with your page splits and also bleed on these outer pages. But then I can flip through it and go to the back page if I wish. The front cover and back cover can act rigid if they're of a higher grammage stock. So I'm going to add that to my basket, conscious of the time. And then also, these are some API endpoints that we're now going to push information on. And then hopefully we can get this into PrintIQ in time. So I'm just going to push one product. We can push a multitude of products, but again, we're showing the touch points. So again, this story is all about removing double entry of data. Don't do this in Infigo and then look to do that in your MIS ERP. Look at linking the two systems together, because that's going to save you time. Again, remove pressure on whoever's entering this job in. And in this instance, this could be your customer. This could also be me doing on behalf of your customer as your account manager. So again, those are real world instances that can exist in a business each and every day. So I'm now going to checkout. As part of the checkout process, look at the capability from an ERP system and how it can drive information about the customer into your web storefront. Because if you can do that, again, your MIS ERP becomes your single source of truth. So in here now, we can have addresses. We can have a multitude of addresses that are being driven by your MIS ERP. Secondary, once your address has been chosen, we now get a live shipping rate, again, driven on this instance by PrintIQ. So just to show you that we do have that capability to be told by the MIS, this is the method that we would like to offer this customer. And on this one, we've got for FedEx, UPS, Charlie's local truck, or our local driver. So I'll go ahead and use UPS. And then payment methods. You can use Stripe, Apple Pay, Google Pay, Authorized.net, a multitude of shipping or payment providers, or allow and force a purchase order. So again, if you can force that, if a customer will only pay an invoice based on a PO being applied, very simple thing to add. And I'll just go in. And on this occasion, what you also have with IQ on this one is the ability to upload the purchase order. Then when that lands in the MIS, it marries it up against the invoice, and it will then push it to accounts to pay, because it's called invoice flipping, and it pretty much checks that the two amounts match. As long as they do, the accounts have got a lot less to do in that respect. So again, saves a huge amount of time for your accounts team and removes the stress on them for chasing all of the invoices that are no doubt unpaid. So there we are. We're at the end of our journey. The order's been placed, the shipping's been driven to us, the shipping methods have, and our customer, I am the role of the customer on this storefront. I can see that my job is processing. Look to link systems together to show the user the journey that their job is now going on. So we call this live status updates. And you have that ability within Infigo through our API and our endpoints to then take that feedback. So if it's pace, if it's radius, if it's Avanti, if it's Presswise, get those status updates back, because it's important to give that to your customers nowadays. So we're now seeing that the job is processing. I can see my billing address, my delivery address. I can see that very clearly on this, and I can see my method of shipment. I'm hoping to get a tracking link back once that has shipped, and I can also see the artwork that I have uploaded. But I'm also given the opportunity very quickly, in 2 minutes, an hour, 3 days, to go back in and then reorder this product. So yeah, that is the order placed. I can now continue to go in here, self-serve. In a few seconds, I will get an email from PrintIQ or Infigo, depending on whether it's the MIS or the web storefront delivering that information to me. So we might be a bit too quick, but let's just do it because it is live in real time. So in a few seconds, what we'll now see is a job very similar to this. And what I'll do is, because we are very tight on time today, the job will have dropped in fact, just to prove that rather than say it has. There we go. So what do we do? And on this occasion, it's a very nice, neat solution. We generate the quote in Infigo, in PrintIQ, apologies. So Infigo has controlled that based on the product, and it's generated the quote inside PrintIQ. It hasn't yet been accepted, so it's still under the status of in process. So in a few seconds, we will see the job land in here. There we go, as if by magic, and it's uploading the artwork. So let's just dive in and leave it to do that. Then we can refresh in a few seconds. So we've generated the quote. In a few seconds, we'll auto accept that quote, showing that we can interact with that remote system. Now you'll start to see our API endpoints and the integration we've got with PrintIQ. So there's our job. That's the Infigo job number. You can see that was pushed in by an API user. That should normally say Paul Bromley. You can see the production instructions I've given, and also the delivery note really quick. So if we go right to left, if we look at the dispatch, we selected UPS. It's configured the UPS for the dispatch in PrintIQ, and it's also chosen and allocated the correct weight and also how many boxes are required. So we're tidying a lot of this up, and I would be as bold to say we probably have now controlled 90 to 95% of this order, complete hands off, and we've given that 95% back to the business onto their bottom line with this order. We've removed all double entry and all of the normal processing that would go on with this job from a web order. If we now go into the job details, we've given the job the name, the spec is set, 8.5 by 11.4, the material it's being used on, the quote reference has been set and accepted, the PO has been pushed in, SKU for this product has also been set, again with the size, and then we've also planned it into production. So all we're waiting for now is someone to confirm the press time, digital, litho, wide web, or the material is also available. And the job bags, if we click on this now, we haven't got time to do it, but 3 minutes left. The job bags are also generated. So just as a very quick show and tell there, hopefully we've shown you the capabilities of Preflight for any business. As I said, remove the Infigo logo off because that is capable within any system. We're just showing it embedded at the core of what we do. There's no smoke and mirrors. We don't push out to another system. It truly does sit at the core of what we do. And then the secondary thing is MIS ERP. You should be looking to automate as much as you can and ask why. Ask why to the current provider. Why can't we do that? And look at the API capabilities they've either got now or they're looking to develop. And also what quick wins can you get? Hopefully that's been an informative session. As I said, we're using our partners just because of the level of integrations, but more so to show the capability from Infigo, but also duplicating that with this is what you should be looking at within your business that is available within the industry. Well, thank you for everyone for attending. Have a fantastic Thanksgiving to all of our American attendees. And yes, we wish you all the best, and hopefully we'll see you all on the next one. Many thanks for attending the first Infigo live session.